So what if you could create a perfectly clear, stable image, not from a TV signal, but by organizing the pure, random static on a screen? In this explainer, we're diving into a source that explores that very idea, the idea of creating form directly from chaos.
All right, let's just jump right into the central mystery here. We're going to be looking at some images that seem to, well, they just manifest directly out of the electronic noise of a television screen. We're talking about true ghosts in the machine.
Okay, take a close look at this. Out of a field of what should be completely random static, a definite shape is starting to emerge. Now, this isn't some weak broadcast signal trying to tune in. Nope, this is something else entirely. And here, wow, the form gets so much clearer. You can see it, right? A very distinct profile of a human face. And it's stable, it's recognizable, and it's materializing from right inside all that digital chaos. This image, well, this one presents an even bigger puzzle. What we're seeing here looks like light actually bending in a sharp curve. That's a phenomenon that usually needs a lens or for light to pass through water or something. It really forces you to ask the big question, what in the world is going on here? To even begin to try and answer that, we have to understand what it is we're actually looking at. I mean, what is the snow on an old analog TV? Because it's definitely not an empty canvas. That static, that snow, is what we call electronic noise. It's just a constant, chaotic flicker of totally uncorrelated signals. Every single pixel is just firing off randomly, and it has absolutely no relationship to the pixel right next to it. And all this noise is happening on a screen that's being drawn by an electron beam scanning at an incredible speed. We're talking 30 times per second. Now, here's the crucial part. The path of that beam is predictable. It's constant. And that very structured process, that's the key to this whole mystery. So here's the real challenge. For a face to just hold steady on that screen, all of that built-in randomness has to be overcome. Something has to step in and organize the chaos into a coherent pattern. Not just once, but frame after frame after frame. But how? I mean, really, how? The explanation that's offered in the source material really challenges our classic understanding of physics. It suggests we need to think less about moving actual matter and more about shaping information. Think about this. It presents a huge physical problem. The source points out that to physically manipulate every single point of light into a face 30 times a second, you'd basically have to race ahead of the electron beam as it draws the screen. And that, well, that would just be impossible. And that brings us to the core hypothesis. It's not about some physical, invisible hand rearranging all the pixels. The idea is that an informational influence is happening here, something that's changing the very probability of where a random pixel is going to light up in the first place. So yeah, it's not about pushing pixels around. It's more like laying a pattern on top of the noise itself, guiding all that chaos into a specific form without any physical contact at all. Now, I know this is a really abstract concept, so let's turn to a pretty simple analogy that's presented in the source, which makes this whole thing much, much easier to grasp. Okay, I want you to picture every single flickering pixel on that TV screen as a firefly in a huge, dark field. Each one is just blinking on its own, with absolutely no rhythm or reason. Just total, beautiful chaos. And this is what happens next. Nobody is moving the fireflies. Instead, it's like some invisible conductor showed up and got them all to blink in perfect synchrony, creating this coherent image out of their collective light. The source actually calls this synchrony. It's the act of taking all that uncorrelated electronic noise and making it coherent. It's organizing its phase so that all those individual random events start working together to form something meaningful. So what are the bigger implications here? I mean, if an informational field can actually shape random energy into coherent forms, what does that possibly suggest about the very nature of our reality? Now, according to the source, this idea isn't just floating in a vacuum. It actually connects to some pretty big ideas in quantum physics about how random systems can suddenly become orderly. And it even touches on theories that propose that information itself might be a fundamental layer of the entire universe. The ultimate takeaway here is this. The hypothesis suggests that these images aren't a classical physical phenomenon. They're an informational one. It's where order is imposed on chaos, guiding it into a clear form without violating any of the known laws of physics. And that leaves us with one final and pretty provocative thought.
If information can truly impress itself upon random energy to create a face out of pure static, what then are the limits to what it can shape?